is John Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this is the one I know many of you guys have been waiting for. And this is the juice off between the Slowstar juicer by Tribest and the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. So these two juicers represent my favorite vertical single auger juicers at this time that are now on the market. Both these guys actually sit on my counter because they're like duking each other out like every day when I'm juicing my juice. Some days I'll use this guy, like if I'm juicing mostly fruits, because it has a wide feed chute, really convenient and easy. You know, some days I'll use this guy when I'm doing more greens, because that's what I've kind of noticed in my own life. Like, this guy really kicks ass at greens, this guy doesn't do greens as well as this guy, but he kicks ass at fruits, plus 3-inch feed chute is really tantalizing because it makes life so much easier. In any case, what we're going to do in this episode is, number one, we're going to share with you guys the differences between these two vertical auger juicers. And then next, we're actually going to have a juice off, and we're going to juice some arugula and cucumbers today to show you guys which juicer will reign supreme in the juice off comparison that I'll be doing in a second. Now, before we get into the juice off comparison, what I first want to do is go over these juicers and share with you guys the exact differences between them. So these are known as vertical single auger juicers. They run at a low RPM. Generally, vertical single auger juicers run at 80 RPMs. The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer tends to run at 60 RPMs, according to the manufacturer. And the Slowstar runs at 47 RPMs, which is the lowest RPMs currently available in the United States on any juicer that I'm aware of. So they're both vertical single augers, and in general, vertical single auger juicers are best at juicing a wide variety of things. So if you say, John, I want to juice just everything under the sun, these guys do everything fairly well. Now if you said, hey John, I want to juice nothing but fruits, actually, with fruits, these guys actually juice fairly well. You know, these are my choice for juicing fruits. You said, John, I want to juice only leafy greens. Well, you know, that's where the challenge comes up. I wouldn't say these guys juice leafy greens the best. You know, they juice them better than other machines, such as centrifugal ejection machines and whatnot. But, you know, the horizontal single auger juicers juice greens better than this. So you really have to determine what you want to juice. If you want to juice, like, you know, carrots and hard vegetables, these guys actually do a decent job at hard vegetables. And I like these style machines the most because they save me the most amount of time. In general, these guys, for the most part, are self-feeding. And I like that a lot, so I don't have to sit there and push each and every produce item in, which can be a challenge with other slow juicers that are available on the market at this time. So with that, let's get into the direct comparison. First off, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer comes in two colors at present time. Comes in a silver color and a white color, and the Slowstar juicer only comes in the black and red color. The next thing, let's talk about the price. The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer retail price is currently $50 more than the Slowstar juicer. And so the Slowstar juicer costs less money, so you're going to pay a bit more for the added convenience of the wide feed chute, plus some of the other accessories. So next, let's start taking apart some of these juicers. So the first part you're going to see on the machine is the feed chute. So the Slowstar machine has the standard kind of like crescent style feed chute, and the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer has a 3-inch wide circular feed chute. So literally the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer feed chute is twice as large. So what this means is that you'll have to do less cutting to put things into the machine. Now on the other hand, the Slowstar actually has a nice funnel. So this helps you kind of funnel things in and push it in the machine so that it doesn't fall on your counter. This is not available on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, and I've had things kind of like drop, you know, not in the chute but onto the counter because I really like the funnel. Next, let's talk about the augers in each of the machine. Those are the parts that comes out next. And so this is the auger on the Slowstar juicer, and this is the auger out of the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now you guys can see the shape is a fair bit different, and that is basically because of the 3-inch wide feed chute. This has to have a different design that helps suck produce in the machine. I have found that sometimes right above the auger things could kind of hang up and not get juice because it just won't go into the machine. I find that not to be a challenge with the Slowstar, because most of the things drop in and then actually get processed. Both these augers are made out of the GE Ultimate material, which is 8 times harder than augers previously manufactured on slow juicers. The other thing on the bottom of these machines, the Slowstar actually has a recess in here. This is part and inherent in the design. The other thing that's really critical is that the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer kind of just gets the produce in and kind of crushes it and reduces the the space in between the auger and the screen to literally squeeze out the juice. And the Slowstar juicer does the same, but the first step of the Slowstar, it actually has a dual blade, so this is unique at present time to the Slowstar juicer, although other companies are now starting to copy this. It basically has one blade here and one blade here, so as this goes around, it chops off bits of the produce twice, so that allows you to do a little bit less cutting. Because normally on the slow juicers such as this, I recommend pre-cutting all leafy greens and celery, except for baby leafy greens. Next, let's take a look at the screens on both machines. Here we have the screen from the Slowstar, and here is the screen from the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. So as you guys can see, the screen on the Slowstar is a fair bit beefier, and it looks like to me that the screen on the Slowstar actually has a more screen area. So in general, what more screen area means is it actually means that it has more space for the juice to come out so that you can actually get a higher yield. Comparing the hole sizes, actually it looks like the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer actually has smaller holes, which may mean it's going to actually let less pulp in the juice. But we're going to have to see that once we do the comparison. Now both these screens are made out of the GE Ultimate material, which is the hard material, 8 times harder, so you should have minimal screen breakage unless you're using your juicer improperly. If you are considering purchasing the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, I do recommend watching Juicing Greens in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer for my recommended tips on how to use the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And if you're considering a Slowstar, I do recommend watching a video, Slowstar juicer best practices on how to use a Slowstar properly for the best results, because that is very important when using any vertical single auger juicer. On the bottom of the screen there, here's where it's a little bit different here. So the number one thing is how the screen locks into place. The Slowstar actually has several different locking points where the screen locks into place so it will not move in the bowl, and it looks like the Kuvings basically has 2 locking points that it locks down and holds taut. The other thing that's interesting about the Slowstar is its entire design. Basically, how the pulp is ejected, the pulp gets crushed, it actually goes up and underneath the auger and then back down, and then basically just pushes it out through the bottom of the screen. Whereas in the Kuvings, it relies on the auger to bring it around to a certain point, and then the pulp only comes out this small little hole. So what this means is that you may have more backups actually in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer if you're not using it properly, whereas the Slowstar may be more forgiving with this. Next part, of course, is the automatic wiping blade, and so the automatic wiping blade is basically like windshield wipers for your car windshield. This rotates around to keep the bowl clean, but it also has little wiping blades on the inside to keep the screen clean. I kind of like the aerodynamics of the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer because they are kind of like see-through in here, less parts to clean, and there's actually 3 of them. And on the Slowstar, there's actually just 2 fins that will be needed to be cleaned, and the plastic is white. So I like the black; it's going to show less stains. But I also need to encourage you guys, at minimum once a week, if not every time after using your machine, you're going to want to remove these silicone wiping blades by just basically taking them out like that, and you're going to want to brush this down. One of the cons of having a black plastic is, actually I can see it now on here, there's like black mold that you actually can't see in here because we haven't been removing these as often as we should. And with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you're not going to be able to see that. With the Slowstar, you will be able to see that, so you will be able to clean it and clean your juicer completely because it will be easy to see. Then you're just going to go ahead and then reinsert these silicone pieces so that your juicer can function properly. Now I can say that it is easier to remove the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer silicone wiping blades than the Slowstar due to the design. This is a lot less flexible silicone, and it's one whole molded piece that's harder to get in and out. I like it when you can get in and out easy, and that's why I like the Slowstar juicing screen a little bit better. Next, let's get on to the juicing bowl. This is probably one of the main components of any vertical slow juicer. Guess we'll start with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. This is the juicing bowl, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. As you guys can see, the spout actually has the closure, so that prevents drips on your countertop. It will also allow, mixing inside your machine. Once you open this up, you'll see like a little prong there that only allows juice to come out and nothing that has large particulate. I'll talk about this more in a minute. For juicing, it doesn't really matter. On the bottom of the bowl here, I like this bowl design because there are no recesses, no places for pulp to get caught, no places that it's hard to clean the juice out. So it's really easy to clean. In addition, where the pulp comes out, there's a nice little flap that's on a hinge. It's really easy to pull out and clean right in there. And there's a little gear here that you will need to kind of brush out each time. That turns the automatic wiping blade system. So that's the bowl on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. This is made out of the BPA-free Eastman Triton material. On the Slowstar, this is also made out of the Eastman Triton BPA-free material. And once again, this is the latest model of the Slowstar juicer, and the Slowstar now has that handy juicing flap. So this is new, and it's not yet available by the time you see this video. But the cool thing I like about TriBest is that they are always constantly improving their product, and they don't leave early adopters or people that bought the product, before the latest upgrades came out. They've done about 3 upgrades to this machine, and they are all available, for free, plus a nominal shipping charge to current, owners of the Slowstar. So I appreciate this a lot. I don't know what Kuvings will be like on this aspect, but rest assured that the TriBest and the Slowstar is coming out. As they come out with new upgraded parts, even if you own the current one, you're going to basically get those free of charge with a small shipping charge. So I like that a lot. The new spout can prevent drips on your countertop. Now, if you should buy one of these and you don't have this, wait another month or two, call TriBest and let them know that you want to get this upgrade, and they'll ship it to you for free. Once again, you just got to pay the shipping. The next upgrade they have actually now on the Slowstar juicer is these new rings, and this is a red silicone ring that prevents the leakage onto the main top of the housing. Now, this leakage can be a challenge with all vertical slow juicers, especially if you're not using it properly, such as feeding things too quickly and or not cutting up the greens and the celery and other stringy things properly, such as pineapple cores. So in this bowl here, what we're looking at, pretty much the same thing. We got a little gear that turns. We got the little flap. It's a red flap on the bottom that kind of blocks into place. And the job of this flap, I want to share with you guys what the flap does. So what this flap does, basically, it keeps back pressure and keeps the pulp inside the machine to get it fully wrung out before it lets it eject it. So this is a preset active factory. When you're done cleaning, you're going to have to pull this little flap out to clean the machine, and before you start juicing, you're going to want to push it back in completely to have some back pressure on the pulp. Now, I do like on the Slowstar they actually have this cutout here which can help you clean the pulp out of the ejection port there. Now, on the bottom of this Slowstar, there are some nooks and crannies because this is inherent in the design, because as I mentioned, the screen doesn't have that standard small hole. All the pulp goes down to the bottom of the screen, and then basically through pressure gets forced out the little hole here into the pulp collection bin. So that's pretty much it. Now, I want to talk about the safety mechanisms. Both these machines have safety mechanisms which do not allow the machine to come on unless it's properly assembled. So with the Slowstar machine, that safety mechanism is more of a mechanical one. Once you lock this main body in place and you lock this top in place, and let's go ahead and show you guys how easy these units are to assemble. Basically, you're going to put in the main bowl, you're going to drop this on, it locks into place, Then you're going to take your automatic wiping blade, put that around your screen, line up this white dot with the white dot right here. It's going to just lock into place. Then you're going to take your auger, drop your auger in place. Take your housing with the red dot, line it up with the white dot here, turn it and lock it into place, and you're all set, ready to go. Once it's locked into place, your juicer will turn on. If you don't lock this into place, the machine will not turn on. So this prevents injury, and so it's a mechanical. So on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, let's go ahead and assemble that for you real quick. So we got to plug this little plug in place because we will soon be juicing in it. Now this one has a lift-off style design. This has a full locking design. We're fully locked and has a handle actually, so you can pick it up easily. The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer does not have a handle, and it does not need to really lock into place. You basically just set it on and in place, so this makes assembly a little bit easier. Next, you're going to take your automatic wiping blade and your juicing screen. You're going to line up the red dot here with the red dot on top of the housing. Drop that into place. You're then going to take the auger. The auger drops right into place and fully seats down in there. Then you're going to take your top here with the white arrow. You're going to put it to the side of the open and close mark, and then you're just going to rotate that to close, and then you can actually turn it and close it. And once again, once you turn it to close it, you can turn the machine on and the top will actually lock into place. And so if you don't have the top on, once again, this will not turn on. What there is, there's a magnet switch in here that does not allow the Kuvings to turn on. So that's a little bit different than the Slowstar, which has a physical switch. So now that you've learned the differences of the builds between them, a few other differences are the motor in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer technically is more wattage than the Slowstar. Although I'm told after the Slowstar goes through the gear reduction, it actually physically has more power than the Slowstar. So who do you believe when all this stuff's on paper and it's in the motors? You know, I don't know, but all I like to say is that, you know, the real world test and how it works is the proof in the pudding. So as you guys can see, the Slowstar sits actually a little bit taller than the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, not by much. And both these guys sit underneath my counters, you know, fully assembled without any problems. You know, I always encourage you guys and recommend that you guys keep your juicer on your counter. The more often your juicer is seen, the more often it will be used. If you put your juicer away, chances are you're not going to get it out to make your daily vegetable juices like I recommend. So now that you learn the differences in the designs of the machines, let's talk about some of the accessories that comes with the machines. This is actually quite important. The first thing I want to go over is the cleaning brush. The cleaning brush is a very important tool with any vertical slow juicer. It allows you to clean the machine. So the Slowstar comes with basically an oversized toothbrush that allows you to clean the screen with this size. This allows you to get into some of those tight, hard to reach places. And it has a little raked screwdriver end that's going to help you kind of get in to get all that pulp out when you're cleaning it. So I like that a lot. Now Kuvings is making, you know, juicing easy with the 3-inch wide feed chute. Plus they also make cleaning easy because they know that cleaning, you know, people don't like cleaning their juicers, so they include not only one, but 3 different cleaning brushes. And let me go ahead and show you guys there. Number 1, they got the standard oversized toothbrush here with a little bit stiffer bristles than the Slowstar. And I like the stiffer bristles personally. It helps clean that screen more effectively. They don't really have a screwdriver end on this, although you can stick it in to help, you know, clear any kind of pulp that's in there. Now besides the standard toothbrush brush, they have a bottle brush, and then I like this one because it allows you to get into this little area here and fully clean out your juice spout where, you know, pulp residues may occur. Also you can get in here, clean all sides where the pulp comes out, so that's really cool. Now if that wasn't cool enough, they got a third brush that's really cool. It's going to save you guys time cleaning the screen, and that's a special pulp cleaning brush. And here it is right here. No other juicer company has this at this time. And what it allows you to do is just put it on the screen and literally just wrap this around, move it back and forth, and it's going to clean your screen quickly and easily. I don't know why every company doesn't invent something like this to clean the screen much more quickly and easily to save you time. So needless to say, I must say that I like the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer in this respect because it makes cleaning easier with 3 cleaning brushes. So besides just cleaning, I want to get back to juicing and what you can use your juicer for. So many juicers will only do one function. They will only juice. They will only make you a fruit and vegetable juice, or a vegetable juice, or a fruit juice, or some juicers only make wheatgrass juice. But with both these machines, they have multi-function. So, you know, as these machines sit right here, not only will they make juice, they will also make things like coconut milk and almond milk. And besides that, they have multi-function purposes. So with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, they give you what's called a blank screen. So this blank screen, what it does is you're going to take out your juicing apparatus here, put in this blank screen right here, put in your auger right here, and put the top back on. And then what you got set up is anything you put in the machine is going to be crushed out, and it's going to come out the juicing spout. So this is perfect for making things like the nut butters. You put roasted peanuts through here, you'll get a nice crunchy style peanut butter coming out. And the more favorite thing to do with the blank screen is make frozen fruit sorbets. So I know you guys might be wanting to try to eat healthier and get off eating ice cream, which has the dairy products, which many people are allergic to dairy, and Asian people don't have, you know, the enzyme to digest the dairy properly, and may cause flatulence and all this kind of stuff. And also, you know, you could have different monodiglycerides and corn syrup and all these crazy ingredients in the ice cream, you know, but you like that ice cream flavor, you like the sweetness, you like just how it tastes. I mean, you know, we all love ice cream, right? But with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you can take frozen bananas that have been thawed out, or frozen berries that have been thawed out a little bit, put them through the machine, it'll mush it all up and come out this little front juicing spout here, much like your frozen yogurt dessert, you know, from your favorite fast food restaurant when you were a kid, right? 100% fruit, 100% frozen, nice and cold, tastes sweet without any added sugar. So this way you could start eating healthier, have something that's less calorically dense, that's going to allow you to lose weight and get healthier with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now, so this attachment only allows you to process the nuts and the frozen fruits. Now on the Slowstar juicer, we're going to go ahead and remove this here. And instead of just giving you a simple blank screen that's going to go inside the main juicing body, the Slowstar, what they do is they offer you a whole new attachment here that's going to go on the machine. And once again, it has that brand new red seal to prevent leakage. So that's the upgraded seal. And if you have the current Slowstar, call Try Best Up for your upgraded seal. No cost except a small shipping fee. So you're going to put that on the unit. You're going to take your auger, put your auger in there. Then you're going to take the top. Once again, we got that little red dot to match up with the white dot over here. Turn it in place. Turn the machine on. And now you have instant mincer attachment. So this is the mincer attachment. It is much more versatile than the blank screen due to the blank screen and this juicing nozzle has this little thing in there that doesn't let, you know, particle sizes come out that are large. If something's fully broken down, such as the nut butters and frozen fruit sorbets, this will allow it. Any other use of this attachment will void your warranty. Not so with the Slowstar juicer. This has no restriction on the outlet port, so whether you want to, you know, basically put through nuts or frozen fruits, you can do that. Whether you want to put through pieces of garlic, I like to put through big pieces of cabbage so I can crush it up and make my sauerkraut. Whether you want to put skinned eggplant to make a mock vegan raw eggplant chicken. Whether you want to put in, you know, nut and seed pâtés or sprouted, you know, wheat berries to make a pâté that you're going to dehydrate to make Essene bread, you can do it all in the Slowstar juicer because this attachment will allow you to grind pretty much anything, whether you want to grind up coffee beans, anything. So much more versatile attachment on the Slowstar. So with this, I must give the Slowstar the upper hand. Now the next part that is included with the Slowstar, but not the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, and I'm saddened by this, is a juicing sieve. So the juicing sieve is very important in my opinion. As I've said many times before in my videos, these style machines, the vertical single auger style machines, make some of the most pulp of any juicer out there. So if you don't like pulp, you'll need to purchase a strainer separately on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, and you know, which actually costs more, so they should include one, but not so with the Slowstar. They're going to provide you actually probably one of the nicest, highest quality stainless steel, 100% stainless steel juicing strainers that come with any juicer that I've seen actually. Actually, this came with the Slowstar, but we use it for straining many other things in the kitchen because it is that nice. So I appreciate this a lot. Now besides just the strainer, you know, something that's very important for many people is the instruction book, not only to learn how to use the machine, which is quite important. I do encourage and recommend you read the instruction book and know how to use the machine properly. You know, much like trying to use an iPhone, if you don't read directions, unless you're a 16-year-old kid, you can figure it out. You should be reading the directions to learn how to properly use your machine. I also do have explanation videos that I mentioned a little bit earlier on how to use the machines properly to give you my hints and tips that are actually not in the instruction manual. That being said, you know, each of the machines come with their own little booklet. So the Slowstar actually has a nice instruction booklet here. It's basically a color cover, black and white, shows you step by step the different parts, how to use it. In addition, it actually has probably about a dozen different recipes in the back of the book with juice recipes and homogenizing or mincing cone recipes. And that's kind of what comes with every juicer, like an instruction book. And the Slowstar actually comes with a dozen recipes, which most juicers do not come with. I'm glad that Kuvings has taken this to the next level, and they're actually coming out with a Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer recipe book. And this is what I think every juicer should come with in this day and age, because many people getting into juicing, frankly, you know, they don't know what to juice, they don't know what to make, they need some ideas, they need some help, and Kuvings coming to the rescue with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer recipe book. This thing is like over 100 pages here, and look at this. They got all kinds of different recipes with full color pictures, how to make a, you know, different creamy pumpkin smoothies and watermelon and cherry fizz and kiwi max and tomato soup and soy milk. I mean, just go look at these pictures, man. It's amazing. You could go through this recipe book and like make one recipe every day of the month and still have recipes to go through that you didn't make yet, and you could find out which ones are your favorite. And you know, all these recipes in here are based on juicing fruits and vegetables, and I think that's definitely a healthy way to go. So got to give it to Kuvings. They win on the point of the recipe book. The next thing I want to talk about is the warranties. So the warranties on both these machines are the same. Both these machines have a full 10-year warranty. Imagine if you had a warranty on your iPhone for 10 years, man. I mean, I have friends that have broken their iPhone multiple times just within a few weeks, right? Well, if the juicer breaks due to no fault of your own, it will be covered under warranty for the duration of the warranty. So literally what this means to you is that if you get a good juicer, it's a one-time investment, and that's how it should be. I believe that's how it should be with every appliance, so I'm glad that these juicing companies are stepping up to the plate and putting long warranties behind their machines to basically show you guys that they have trust and faith in the machines, and they're going to be here for a long time to come, so you can make those healthy lifestyle improvements that are going to, you know, help you to lose weight, gain more energy, and regain your health. Next, I want to talk about the two companies that back up these machines. So TriBest is a US-based company that's actually been in business for 25 years now. So it's a rock-solid company. You know, they have good customer service, and they're here to stay to back up any warranty claims with the Slowstar. Now, the Kuvings company, you know, they have been around for a long time in Korea. They just recently, within the last, I don't know, so many years, started an office up here in the USA that I have visited, and they look quite established, but they just haven't been around and don't have the proven track record that TriBest has. So, you know, if the warranty concerns you, might want to go with the Slowstar, because I'm highly confident that TriBest will be here to stay for many years, family-owned business. And even so with the Kuvings, I'm sure you're going to get your support for the next 10 years, although they are a newer company. So aside from these differences in the warranties and how the machines work and look and the different parts and all the attachments that it comes with, one of the most important things for me is actually how the machines work and actually how much juice they yield, you know, juicing the same exact amount of produce. So what we're going to do next, we're going to clear off all this stuff. We're going to come back at you juicing some cucumbers and arugula in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer and the Slowstar to find out which juicer will reign supreme in this juice off. So now we're back, we're set up and ready to juice in the Tribest Slowstar and the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. What we got today are cucumbers. We got some hothouse grown baby cukes, quite sweet, easy to juice because they're so small. Got 1.5 pounds each of them there. And what we also got is 11 ounces of arugula by Earthbound Greens. So these are tender baby greens that do not need to be pre-cut in either of the vertical single auger juicers. If using large like arugula or kale or collard greens, you know, they're big, I do recommend cutting them up into 1/8" pieces for best results. And once again, I do have videos showing this. So next, let's get into the weigh-in. So now let's do the weigh-in first on the Slowstar side. As you guys can see, we got 1.684 pounds of cucumbers. And next on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer side, we got 1.684. So those are identical. Next, let's go ahead and weigh out the arugula. As you guys can see, this arugula in the package, it weighs 0.896 on the Kuvings side. And over on the Slowstar side, looks like we got 0.896. So the weigh-ins are complete, and we got an even battle right here. Same amounts of arugula and the cucumbers. Now to start juicing. So when juicing in either of these machines, it's important to always rotate the produce you're putting in. So start with the softest produce item first, which means it's going to be some fruit or some leafy greens cut up if they're longer, followed by the cucumber, and then we're going to rotate leafy greens, cucumber till we run out and we get all the juice. So first we're going to start with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Pull out the pusher here. Now with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you may need to use the pusher more than the Tribest Slowstar machine. Slowstar is a bit more auto-feeding. Let's go ahead and open up these greens and get these cucumbers in position. Turn on the machine. Always make sure your spout is up before juicing. Next, we're going to take a handful of the greens, drop them right into the machine. I'm already getting some leakage. It's dropping off the back. It's not going in because we don't have a funnel. I'm going to drop those in. Looks like they're juicing right up, and you can hear the machine work. Once again, another handful of the greens. And once again, it's falling off the back here, not making every single one in. Next, we're going to drop another cucumber in there. Once again, handful of greens, try to get them all in the machine without dropping out. Got one that went in the pulp collection bin, and yet another cucumber. Now you should only ever use the pusher to push the produce in the machine. Do not use your hands, a knife, or any other object. You may damage whatever you're sticking in there, and it'll void your warranty. So I'll go ahead and stick more greens in there very carefully. As you guys can see, we're getting the pulp out of the machine there and the juice coming out. Once again, we just did put a handful of greens. Once again, a handful of one cucumber. Now we're just going to go ahead and repeat this process till we're done. So one of the things I'm noticing with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is once I loaded it up, sometimes it's not dropping in like it should, so I am using the pusher. Now it's very important when using the pusher, you know, don't just cram everything down as hard and fast as you can. This is a slow juicer, and although it has a 3-inch wide feed chute, you need to slow down and feed things slowly. Give the machine time to work. If you try to jam things in too fast, it's going to cause a pulp blockage, which means you're going to even get more pulp in your juice, and it's going to reduce the yield, and you may get jammed up. Alright, so we're about on our last handful of arugula here, right into the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Try to get every last bit in there, and we're left with the cucumbers, so that's a good thing. You always want to end up with your hardest item, so in this case it's the cucumbers. That's really going to help the juicer work and push everything through. We're going to go ahead and drop these in actually one at a time until they're all juiced, and it looks like these guys are 100% auto feeding. Alright, so now we're down to our last cucumber. We're going to drop that in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer to let it get juiced up. Now one of the things I'm noticing is that in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, that last cucumber actually didn't drop in all the way, and there's quite a bit of pulp actually sitting above the auger. You may be tempted to stick a knife in there to get it all in there, but don't do it. You may damage your juicer. Only use the pusher. So we're going to go ahead and use the pusher to try to get every last bit in. And even using the pusher to jam stuff down, the pusher just doesn't go far enough to get everything. So we're going to use a special technique of turning the machine off, letting it stop completely, and then opening this guy up, and you guys can see, I mean, here's the whole cucumber and some pulp that's not getting juiced. We're going to try to basically get that off the side here and basically just put it in this general auger area, so hopefully we'll get all the yield. Now, any pulp that's not getting juiced in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer because it is sticking, that means you're throwing money down the drain because it's not so efficient. So it's going to be really interesting to see the amount of yield this creates with, you know, all this extra pulp not getting juiced. We're going to stick that last cucumber right in the auger and hopefully something will happen. Once again, reassemble the machine. Once it's fully assembled, turn the machine on. And there it is. It's juicing that last cucumber up. But nonetheless, it looks like there still is some percentage of pulp stuck up in the top of the housing that's simply not getting juiced. Now, once you're done juicing and putting the last item in, you don't want to turn off the juicer immediately. You want to let it run just a little while to ensure you get all that juice coming out. The way to really know is to check where the pulp outlet is, and when the pulp stops flowing out the outlet, that's your sign that you're ready to turn the machine off. Looks like it's stopped moving, so we're going to go ahead and turn that guy off and let it drip. And now we're going to start juicing in the Slowstar juicer. So now we're going to juice in the Slowstar juicer. Once again, we got that arugula. Let's go ahead and rip this package open. All right. And we got the cucumbers here. We're going to go ahead and turn this guy on. Once again, you have the pusher, and hopefully this will not be needed on the Slowstar. Once again, we're just going to take handfuls of the greens, and because it has this nice funnel, we'll hopefully get less droppage of the greenery. Before it's going in, we put a handful of the arugula and shove a cucumber down in there, and it's starting to juice. Now, once again, you're going to always want to bring that flap up when juicing for the highest yield. I have found that if you leave that closed, you may reduce the yield because the pulp will come out actually wetter. Let's go ahead and grab another handful of the baby arugula and shove this right into the Slowstar juicer. Next, one cucumber helps to push it down. That dual blade is working pretty good. We can see some of the juice starting to trickle out there, and the pulp is surely on its way out. I'm going to go ahead and continue to juice my arugula and cucumbers in the Slowstar juicer. Alright, so as you guys can see, I'm juicing in the Slowstar, the arugula, and the cucumber. It's going quite well. What I wanted to share with you guys next is actually the recipe I'm juicing today. So I am juicing the leafy greens. In my opinion, the leafy greens are probably one of the most important things that I believe you guys should be juicing. You know, most Americans are not deficient in fast food, hamburgers, hot dogs, and stuff, but seriously, people are deficient in leafy greens. Leafy greens are the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. What this means is it has the most amount of nutrients, including phytochemicals, phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals, as compared to calories. Fast foods and junk foods, on the other hand, have a lot of calories, but, you know, don't have nearly as many minerals, trace minerals, phytonutrients, and vitamins as some of the greens do. Now, I've decided to juice the cucumber today and the baby arugula because the cucumber adds a nice watery flavor. The cucumber juice is a nice mellow juice. You can almost drink cucumber juice on its own, and it tastes a little bit like water with faint flavoring. You know, it's not too strong, especially if you're using the baby hothouse cucumbers here. You know, one of my favorite juices is to use the celery and the cucumbers to make a nice, you know, water replacement that's nature's filtered water by the plants. It's so delicious, you know. So I like to add like celery with the cucumbers with a few greens, and the baby greens tend to be more mild than, you know, older arugula. So that's why I'm juicing it today, so the flavor won't be as strong, because the arugula, also known as rocket, will launch you into outer space because it is actually quite hot and kind of peppery. But the baby stuff, more mild than the older stuff. So this should be a fair juice. Now, many people might not want to make this juice because it's quite simple. You know, I want to encourage people to actually make simple juices. You know, you don't want to make juices that have like everything but the kitchen sink, because trust me, I made some nasty juices that I had to hold my nose and chug it down because it just did not taste good. You know, the simpler your juice, the better it's going to be, the less chances of screwing it up you're going to have You know, if you are new into juicing, I do recommend checking out my video, Free Juice Recipes for Life, to learn, you know, how you can formulate your own juice recipes without any instruction book. I'm going to go ahead and juicing up the last of these greens and the cucumbers in the Slowstar. Then we're going to be back at you to find out which juicer made more juice. Alright, so we're just about done juicing the greens in the Slowstar juicer. We're just going to go ahead and drop the rest of these guys in there. Every last bit of greens. We're all out of greens on this machine. And then once again, we're left with the cucumbers, and we're just going to drop in these guys one at a time to get all the juice. Alright, we're down to our last cucumber, drop right into the Slowstar. So looking down the chute, looks like there's a lot less pulp backed up in the chute, you know, on the Slowstar than with the Kuvings, so this may affect the yield. Once again, we're going to let this guy run a little bit longer till the pulp stops flowing out, and then turn off the machine. Alright, looks like the pulp stopped flowing out. We're going to go ahead and turn this machine off, and for good measure, I always like to tip the machine up. Get any little last juice out. We'll do that on the Slowstar, and we'll do this on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And that's pretty much it. Set these guys back up. We're going to go ahead and put that stopper in place so there's no drips on the counter. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and strain out the juice to show you guys which one made more yield, which one made more pulp. And actually, if we look at this just lining up, looks like actually to me that the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you know, made a little bit more foam, but you know, they both made a lot of foam. The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer juice had been sitting a while, so that may have dissipated a little bit of the foam. So before we get into the actual yields, I want to share with you guys a few things. Let's go ahead and move some of these guys aside a little bit. We're going to move the pulp front and center for you guys. Now, I'm not going to weigh the pulp because some people always say, John, weigh the pulp. Well, you know, some of these machines kept more pulp in it than the others, so that wouldn't be really fair, because if this one had more pulp in the machine, that means, you know, the weight would be off. But what's not off is if I take some of the pulp up in my hand and squeeze it. So you guys could see, actually, this pulp from the Slowstar is still fairly wet. And we're going to go ahead and grab the pulp from the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And once again, that's also fairly wet. So, you know, things like fruits, technically cucumbers are a fruit, can be more challenging to juice in vertical single auger machines such as these. That's why, in my opinion, the pulp is still wet. If you really are into it, you can actually put the pulp back through the machine. If you put the pulp back through, you should put a piece of pulp in and then follow it by another cucumber, which will help the machine work. If you just pack the pulp in there, you know, it may not juice properly. In addition, it will make extra foam and eject more pulp in the juice as well. So both pulps were still fairly wet. Let's go ahead and move those aside and move in our measuring cups with strainers, which are identical, so we can find out which juicer yielded more juice. So first, we're going to go ahead and pour the Slowstar juice through the sieve in our collection cup here. And that's working pretty good. I'm seeing a little bit of pulp getting stuck here in the sieve here. We're up to 1.5 cups, almost 2 cups now, and it's slowly building up. As you guys can see, we got a fair bit of foam going through. Now, the foam basically is aerated juice, so if you let this foam sit for any length of time, then what will happen, the juice will end up dripping out. So we're just going to go ahead and load this baby up with foam and shake this down in a little bit and see how much juice we get. Next, we got the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer pouring out, and it looks like we got some pulp collecting, and to me, at this point, it looks like actually there's more pulp in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer juice than the Slowstar. And we're pouring this guy up. We're at 2 cups of juice. And now we got the foam coming on. Alright, so that's all the foam and the juice going through there. Now we're just going to go ahead and shake these guys down, hopefully fairly evenly. Alright, so it's just about done draining out. I want to go ahead and move these guys aside for you guys. And I want to try to show you guys actually the pulp that was in each of the machines here. We're going to go ahead and take this guy after we shake it down 2 more times. jam the pulp on the counter there. Shake this down 2 more times. Jam the pulp in there. So this is not super effective because we still got a lot of foam in here. But you know, just looking at this, you know, and you guys can't really see that too good, just moving my finger through there, it's fairly evident to me that there's more pulp on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. It seems to be of larger particle size, so it didn't get broken down quite as much. Whereas on the Slowstar, there's a little less pulp. It's still fairly pulpy, but the pulp is like more ground up, if that makes sense. So that's that. Now next, let's check out the yields. Okay, here's the Slowstar juicer coming right in, and here's the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer right there on the camera for you guys. So it looks like to me that the Slowstar juicer made 20 ounces of juice, and then if we look at the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, man, it's so close, man. It's not 20 ounces. It's like just under, man. If you had to say like 19 or 19 and a half. Super close. I mean, if we added the pulp back in, it would appear that the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer made more, but that's because it has a lot more pulp and actually, you know, more coarser pulp than the Slowstar. Next, we're going to go ahead and taste the juice. Slowstar juice. That's a nice green juice. The mild arugula flavor goes with the cucumbers quite nicely. If you're not used to drinking green juice, you might not necessarily like this. I personally love green juice. You might want to add maybe a lemon or some apple or maybe some ginger to give it some zing, make it taste better for you. Next, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. They taste pretty much the same. Alright, so in the end, I must name one juicer the winner of this juice off. I mean, as you guys saw earlier in this episode, each juicer has their pros and cons. You know, the Slowstar, a little bit more versatile with its mincing attachment, allows you to do much more. The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, a lot easier to use, feed in produce because of the larger feed chute. Although some pulp got stuck up at the top that didn't get into the machine. I do like the cleaning brushes that's included with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, as well as the instruction book, the full color 100-page recipe book. Quite awesome. I mean, with the Slowstar, made a little bit more yield, lower price, backed up by Tribest, 25-year-old company in the USA. I think this one, it's tough to call, but I'm going to have to go with the Slowstar juicer by Tribest because it yielded more juice in the end. It made a little bit less pulp in the juice, a finer texture pulp, and includes a strainer, which I think is very important because, you know, many people don't like, you know, that pulp in the juice. You know, no problem with drinking pulp in the juice if you don't mind it. It's just totally a preference thing. But that's pretty much it for this episode. I mean, both these juices are so close. I mean, I think the Slowstar inches out the Kuvings by a little bit on the yield, but some of the features on the Kuvings I like a lot. Both these guys will continue to sit on my counter, and I'll pick the one that's going to be best for you know, what I'm juicing at that particular time. Sometimes it's the Slowstar, and sometimes it's the Kuvings. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode learning more about the Slowstar and the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. And what we're going to do in this episode is compare the latest Omega horizontal auger juicers. It seems almost like every week Omega comes out with a brand